I'd arrived on the summit a few minutes after Anatoly Bukharev, a Russian climbing guide working for an American commercial expedition, and just ahead of Andy Harris, a guide on the New Zealand-based team to which I belonged. Although I was only slightly acquainted with Bukharev, I'd come to know and like Harris well during the preceding 6 weeks. I snapped 4 quick photos of Harris and Bukharev striking summit poses, then turned and headed down. My watch read 1:17 p.m. All told, I'd spent less than 5 minutes on the roof of the world. A moment later, I paused to take another photo, this one looking down the southeast ridge, the route we had ascended. Training my lens on a pair of climbers approaching the summit, I noticed something that until that moment had escaped my attention. To the south, where the sky had been perfectly clear just an hour earlier, a blanket of clouds now hid Pomori, Ama Dablam, and the other lesser peaks surrounding Everest. Later, after 6 bodies had been located, after a search for 2 others had been abandoned, after surgeons had amputated the gangrenous right hand of my teammate Beck Weathers, people would ask why, if the weather had begun to deteriorate, had climbers on the upper mountain not heeded the signs? Why did veteran Himalayan guides keep moving upward, ushering a gaggle of relatively inexperienced amateurs, each of whom had paid as much as $65,000 to be taken safely up Everest, into an apparent death trap? Nobody can speak for the leaders of the 2 guided groups involved, because both men are dead. But I can attest that nothing I saw early on the afternoon of May 10th suggested that a murderous storm was bearing down. To my oxygen-depleted mind, the clouds drifting up the grand valley of ice known as the Western Coombe looked innocuous, wispy, insubstantial. Gleaming in the brilliant midday sun, they appeared no different from the harmless puffs of convection condensation that rose from the valley almost every afternoon. As I began my descent, I was extremely anxious, but my concern had little to do with the weather. A check of the gauge on my oxygen tank revealed that it was almost empty. I needed to get down, fast.